Good morning. Hi, beautiful people. Yesterday, I shared a message on perseverance, and today I wanted to share a message which is intuitively coming to be on peace. And later on, I'm going to tell you a story that is a true story, and it has quite a bit of magic in it. So, the message that comes about peace is like there is so much that is happening into the world, around the world at the moment, and it can feel chaotic, it can feel fragmented. It's very easy to feel the overwhelm and to be faced. One could be more, so to say, drawn to look at what we call the reality of the things, of the situation that we have to deal with in the day-to-day life. It could be financial, it could be health related, it could be any other situation. So the great powerful reminder is that the harmony, the peace starts within us. It is said that time is the most precious asset. There is one that is even more precious than time, and it is our frequencies. Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think about energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Frequencies are so powerful. In the metaphysical laws of the universe, in how everything's work, our words are so powerful. Ancient, the knowledge, the wisdom, what the textbook and the masters always taught since the very beginning of time, knew a lot about the power of the word, the power of the sound. Yet behind the words and behind the sound, so the words that we use to speak to ourselves, to speak to others, to speak to the environment that create, there's something more important that is the seed of the intention behind it. And that's also what generates the frequency. So remember, you can make any prayer, you can talk things into manifestation, you can articulate for your words desire or the wishes that you have for the world or for your family, for your own life. What matters the most is the seed of intention at the base of it. Now, if you may think that what I'm referring to is just staying positive and think about the good thing and only speak about the positive things and everything that you want to see in the world, it is actually not. To cite Ascended Master Elena Blavatsky, there is no creation without polarities. Polarity is another metaphysical law. Everything has its pole. Now let's apply this. Let's stay with the realm of Earth. Everything is a dual. Everything is a polarity. Abraham Hicks used to refer to the two ends of the stick. You may use different words to define it. We're talking about the same thing. Everything has an opposite. And in this experience, we do go through both of them. The light, the darkness, the sun, the moon, bitter, sweet, and all in between. So there is no one without the other. To understand the purity of the seed of intention, to understand the light behind the peace, to understand the frequency of love, of unconditional love, the learning and the understanding and the beingness of it goes through the experience of its polarity. And it may be a dance. If you imagine, like you can imagine a stick, that's fine. Walk from one edge to the other, and sometimes you may feel that you're on the lower edge, sometimes you may be in the brightest edge of it, sometimes you're somewhere in between, and keep fluctuating, and that's the experience. The beautiful thing, and what I love about the path, the journey of evolution, is like there is no entitlements, there's no one better than the other. It doesn't depend on age, it doesn't depend on the prestige or the title or the certifications or qualifications or the state or the country where you're in. It's really depend, and it's based also cause and effect. It's really what you put in, you receive out. Not to diverge so much, in the polarity experience, the beauty and the fairness of it, because it makes sense as well, you are given what you can digest. You are given what you are ready to process. The double beauty in it is, guess what? If you are given something, if there is a situation that appears on your path and it's staying, it's for you to resolve and figure out and to clear. Like a meal that is given to a child, only what the child can digest at that stage can be given. And usually, very often, there's a sort of divine intervention. So say, for example, the child, out of curiosity or out of mistake, reaches out for something that is too big. It wouldn't be safe for the child to digest that meal at that time. It could be divine intervention, whether it's the mother realizing and taking the food away, maybe something else did happen. So only what is set for you, only what you are really capable of digesting and overcoming is given to you. When you start to look at any challenge, opportunity, situation through that lens, to any situation that might feel overwhelming or tough or challenging or unfair, however you want to call it, that is presenting on your path and is staying there, and you're sort of left alone, it's for you to clear. Guess what? Find the frame that works better for you so that you can navigate it and resolve it. And as you go through and overcome it, the learning, the expansion is going to be amazing. And then you keep progressing through life, one thing after the other. And I'm sharing this because it's so strictly connected to your experience of the polarities. And so the more, if you go for a few challenges and you overcome that, let's call it darkness, just to use a word that makes sense for many. If you overcome the challenge of the darkness, now you're going to find that also your experience of the light, your experience of the joy, your experience of the love is going to expand. And it may go in cycles, but it's always a balanced experience from one edge to the other. So when I'm speaking, when I'm sharing that peace is within you, when I'm suggesting and reminding that the light is within each of us, it's not about the denial of what's unpleasant and what's evil or painful or harmful. It starts with the acknowledgement that it's all part of the experience. It starts with developing the skills that are required to observe with no judgment, and to observe as, which it's not no judgment. It doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you haven't got a reaction, because we are in a physical body that's made of thoughts, of emotions, of so much that we can live for a physical body. But it means that you're able to elevate yourself and your perspective and stay aware, leave judgment aside, where you can make an observation and you can surely formulate a judgment if you want to, but let that not interfere with your ability to rise above and check how that realization, maybe you're watching the news, maybe you're navigating or brainstorming or just future projecting towards things that you realize are not so helpful for you. Your state, your frequencies are dropping, and there you find yourself spiraling into anxiety that goes then into worse health, worse energy, and etc. So if you realize that it's not helping and your frequencies are dropping, try for yourself, elevate your perspective. And from that awareness, choose that one of your best contribution might actually be to observe from a more elevated perspective and return to frequencies that are more in harmony, that are more in respect, that hold space for faith, for peace, for what you can do. That is constructive. Maybe you are not going to be able to change for today the situation, or whether that it's a situation of suffering, of illness, of war, but maybe there is kindness that you can send to your community. Maybe you can do an act of healing or just of care for another person. Maybe you can create something that can help people in some way. You can send light. You can meditate and send light to a certain place, a situation. And by raising your frequency consistently from that harmonious true seed of intention, watch the ripple effect 3 times, because it changes so much. And this is such an amazing time where so many are starting to reawake, remember, just wanting to connect more. like, you don't need to be a spiritual person, which, by the way, everyone is spiritual, and spirituality is just about spirituality, spirare, to breathe. Everyone breathes. But if you're curious, if you're someone that is curious, if you're someone that has a joyful life, if you are someone that wants just to expand, to create, to get better, that's one of the most spiritual expression ever. And it's all that it takes to make a positive change. And when I get emotional, when I talk, some of you that have been following my channel know that that's also attuning and aligning with highest frequency. That is what it takes. So to recap, the piece is really with you. There is so much that you can change and that you can do just simply by shifting the frequencies. Now there is this the magical story that I wanted to share with you, and has to do with Merlin. Now I'm gonna make a little disclaimer. I'll share a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know. My astrology friends, I'm not a great astrologer, but I was fascinated by it. Scorpio sun, when I was born, the planet Pluto was at 0.35 degree from my sun. It's basically on my feet. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. And with this intro, you may not nothing about astrology. That's not an issue. Those of you who understand a little, I'm making this intro to explain that my journey has not been at all full of roses and love and kindness all the way. It has not been full of protection or comfort, not in any way. It's been a very tough, rough journey, going through so much. A cycle of darkness and challenges, including violence, injuries, so much that I'm not gonna go into. And then it started, and it didn't need start with the psychic gifts and ability that awaken on later, much later on for life. Several cycles of, normally it is said the dark night of the soul is never just one, it's in cycle. And it's like when you walk in life, you can set a pace. Do you want to walk? Do you want to jog? Do you want to sprint? And I went fast through that progress, so observing many cycles. And some of you may relate with going through several work of, you may call it shadow work, death of the ego, processing through layers, since the work with guides and just an higher guidance being present started to strengthen progressively. The last couple of years have been more focused on facing deep darkness at all level. And this is what I was referring to, like the more you're able, like it is given to you what you can take, and it is given to you what you have the capacity to handle and overcome. So I started to understand this, and it was like I have spent so many times even crying on my knees, and always with the approach of getting up, resilience, perseverance, courage, humor, trying to find, okay, what's another way? My genius mind is gonna come up with a solution that I haven't thought about. I'm aligned with the solution, ultimately always with the knowing that source is present. And that was such a big key of knowing, like there was never, there was for a big time in my life, but otherwise there was, in the last few years, there's always been the present, like that. It's just a strong knowing that source is always present. So sometimes there is a higher design and one may better roll with things. Things will reveal themselves later on. The focus on this last year has been on transmutation. So I've been guided to remember transmutation, which initially took quite a while. And don't think too much etherical. Transmutation, yes, it's applied to also with energies that are from this realm and energies that can be from any other realm, including galactic. But transmutation is also what can turn a negative or unhelpful emotion in a more elevated one, an unhelpful thought in a more elevated, more joyful, more uplifted one that is more constructive. And again, the words are something, the intention behind it, it's what matters the most. And then watch what you create in life out of that. Or just the energy that you're able, the way others see you and what you can share with others. Now, this intro is to support. My channel has been quite open for quite a while. And there has been currently a big chapter on inviting truth, of calling in for raw truth, fellow Scorpio, you may relate to this desire, to this need. It's like truth no matter what. Raw truth always. Doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable, if it's ugly, raw truth first, always. So it is a particular time for me of restructuring. Many things may change. We'll see what will continue. There was a time about 4 months ago where with my guides, I heard a voice. A video randomly appeared on my social media, and it was Diana Cooper, lovely Diana Cooper from UK, and was sharing about Merlin that had downloaded a course to her. A very special course, a very special project. Again, several skills have been awakening lately, but I didn't grow up as a psychic. I grew up as someone with big heart, big compassion, huge curiosity, but also strong logic and big skepticism. So things need to make sense. And I also like to see validation in the tangible words. And as I was looking to this video, I hear the voice of my guide within me, and they say, Federica, you're gonna do this course. And it felt very authoritarian in a benevolent way, but it was like certain, like this is an instruction you must follow. I took it for a moment, and she was describing this course, which had quite an investment. So I take a moment to digest it, and I follow, I trust, but at the same time, I there very much time to stand, to negotiate, to integrate, to understand. Out of curiosity, I want to test. If I'm speaking not just to myself, but also to the public, it doesn't matter if it's one person listening or a million. It does not make a difference to me. That integrity passes also through me making the due diligence to check that things are right and are in the light. And I'm human as well, so I may make mistakes, but I navigate and I advocate so strongly, and I pause so many times to cross-check that what is coming through can be validated, has some evidence, has the consistency. Look, when it comes to discernment, sometimes it takes time, sometimes may take years to reveal the real truth. It's like those of you who had experiences with a narcissist. Some, they're very overt. You can see very easily. Others are covert. There are tactics that are very obvious, and there are others that seems brilliant. Over time, you can see what was not aligned and what perhaps had an hidden agenda. So truth sometimes take patience, but ultimately always come up and out. So I ask the questions and I say, look, I received the message. I understand, I'm honored. I feel the authority. I recognize the authority. I ask for a validation. It was quite a consistent investment, a financial investment to do the course. So say, I'm willing. However, it is not my desire to do this course. It's an instruction that I am receiving. Show me that I am supported. Show me that I am supported financially. And there's that. When you start to communicate with spirits, it's also, there are some dynamics that from the human perspective are quite curious. Like I perceive when there are times of like elaborating, when things are being discussed or like worked upon. So it felt a bit like that. I let that go with no expectation. That's another key things. I had submitted my documents. I'm in Australia. So I had submitted my documents for the tax return. And I kid you not, I received an email from the accountant saying, hey, Federica, we made a calculation. However, it seems like what you're going to receive with your tax return is not X, is Z. And the new figure, the updated figure that they gave me by difference was higher, just by the amount that was needed to pay for the Anna Cooper Merlin course. And by that fraction of a second that my brain did the mathematics of figuring out the amount, I heard my guides again with that same authoritative voice saying, Federica, this is the amount of money for you to pay the course for Merlin. And I thought to myself, wow, that's the type of guidance, that's the type of masters and teachers that I do welcome in this physical experience. That's the type of collaboration that I'm honored to follow. And I did went on and follow through. And this morning, there was the fourth of the sessions, and it was very, very powerful. I often experience things that are of a thickness of darkness that I, with my heart in pure truth, I sincerely hope no one is gonna ever go through. It's not fun, it's not nice. I do question things, but it is very clear to me that there was a destiny, there was a path underneath. So it is very clear for me that some things had reason, and also to remember certain skills. However, the beauty, also the joy of some moments, it's magical. It's truly magical. Today I was also working, Diana Cooper works with the angels, the archangels, upgrading codes for reading. It was merging with an archangel and the 7 rays of Christ, and it was very powerful. Some of you may experience like Reiki session. It's something that your logical brain may not understand at all, or may take a bit to catch up and understand with. Ultimately, your body and your soul, your spirit cannot deny that something is changing. That is, there is an energy source, a surge of energy that feels benevolent, that feels healing, that feels rebalancing, and it is happening. And it doesn't matter if others don't believe it, you are experiencing it. And you can see the ripple effect and other doors that then open. As a matter of fact, Reiki was one of the first doors that opened the return to many skills to me, many, over 10 years ago. Beautiful. So it felt like this. And this merge with this Archangel, Christiel, and the 7 rays of Christ this morning felt so powerful and so blissful. And it's like, imagine a light bulb that can hold for 220 volts. I'm just making up numbers here. And it goes very quickly to 600. And you can feel the vessel, the capacity of the vessel to uphold and hold and experience that light expanding so much. So with this, I want to say that there are so many, this is not about being special, this is not about one being better than the other. I'm going to make an analogy in a moment. Remember that there is so much that you can do, and it starts with you. If you continue spending time not only using words of lower frequency, or using your focus, your mind, your focus is so precious. Your focus of together with your frequency and your time is another of the major asset that you do have. And if you dedicate your focus on things that cause low frequencies and worries and anxiety and fear, it's going to be very hard to rise higher into that harmony. So the progression starts with you. Awareness, non-judgment, approach with curiosity. What can I do? I wonder why. I wonder how it could feel to experience something different, and then try. Use different words to describe the things, and behind it, the focus and the seed of intention from a pure, genuine emotion. Try to align with the harmony with the light as best as you can. As you start and continue to walk on that path, your ability to hold and uphold the light will continue to expand. And the more you're able to do so, also the more you can reclaim your own power. There are so many techniques. This is not the video to go into it, but for you to receive your own download, for you to receive your own guidance, for you to receive that your own connection in your heart with source, with nature, with your own higher self or guides. You can do it yourself. This is the time where so many are doing, so many are teaching about it. It is available. But make no mistake, it's very broad. Like in polarities, not everything, it's pure light and only positive. There are, even in energies, there are things that are very clear to spot, that they are not in the best interest. There are others that are very subtle to discern and may have a hidden agenda. So I'm just saying that there is great knowledge within the area. Take a step, elaborate. Remember, you have the right to ask questions and to pause when you're not sure, but keep doing your work to uphold and just sustain, align with that higher harmony. Awake that light, because the peace really starts with you, and it's with all of us. Again, I really want to make strong the sense that it's not about one person being more special than the other one. And let me give you a practical example. Singers. There's so many skills, there's so many talents. Music is special. The music can speak to the cells, can harmonize, can be disharmonizing, or can be harmonizing. Can be a coherent, beautiful music that speaks to the cell, that it spans the heart, the joy. It speaks to the nature, to the pets, to the music, to all of us. In this life, I'm not a great singer. I wouldn't sing a song with you. I'm getting better, but I wouldn't sing a song publicly yet. There are people that have the talent and have been practicing and practicing and practicing, and they do so much great things with their gifts. And by creating songs individually or collectively with other groups, they are enriching everyone. There are people that are doing the same, creating food or infrastructure that we can use, that are taking care of the people and are healing. There are people that are doing that with energy work in so many layers. Healing the codes of Gaia, healing other people, so many other wonderful, fascinating works that are happening. So it's a time where so much is happening. There are also so magical things that are happening. And we do have individually and collective so much power to change. I'm gonna close with this information. Now, lately, also something else that is so special. I'm beyond honored for this. It has started to happen. And so I had, after negotiation, I had the merge of new guides coming through. And I'm being initiated again to remember I've worked with the Akashic Records, which is a more particular work that's going to have not just to access and read the records, but also to change and alter contracts where possible, where there is higher approval, in a way that is more constructive for life. I've been doing this work for myself in this past few years, for ancestral lineage, for my own self, other lives, and so on. The information that I've received from the higher source that is beautiful is this. Remember that contracts are written, but contracts can also be changed. And at an higher level, there is big hope for the contracts to humanity, the contracts of humanity that are already written to be changed. They can be changed for the better. So it starts with awareness. Even when you hear a revelation or any information, yes, be aware of it, but remember that things can change. And there are so many that are cheering and supporting for changes in the best and highest good. Peace starts within you. I'm sending you so much love. Let me know in the comment what you resonated the most with. I send you a wonderful day. Ciao.